This is the South Lake Tahoe property. Let's just do a screen share. This is prop wire I use. I can send you a link so you can do what I'm doing here. But anyhow, it shows us that the list price is $1,299,950. It's been listed for 86 days. It's currently it shows that there's a $525,000 loan on it, and their payment's about $31,480. Estimated balance 514. And I look at that because in today's market, a lot of times it's important to look at that because we can potentially take it over compared to getting a new bank, kind of like we talked about. So this would be a way to do a creative finance deal potentially. We'll talk about that more in a minute. So then I'll usually take a peek at the owner tab. It will tell us, unless before we skip trace it, the owner's name and address where they do taxes. So they live in Carmichael. It looks like they own 135 properties. So there's our active investors. And that's what's neat about PropWire. As soon as we pull the owner, it will show us other properties they own, whether it's 0 or in this case 130. It will tell us the total equity estimated. It's all estimated on that amount, but the balance of mortgages, and this guy has about $1.5 million in equity between all of his properties and a lot of land between Colorado, Nevada, Oregon. So it's listed with an agent, but like if I was to get into a conversation with this owner, it's definitely a transactional conversation compared to like with somebody who owns and lives in their property. So we can look at then next the history. They just got this property in May of 2022. So almost 2 years ago, they picked it up for $700,000. And we know that they're asking 1.3. So quick assumption is that it's a flip. Let's go back in the history. The original owner, well, the owner sold it before, owned it since '73. They paid $11,500 for it, and then they sold it in 22. Darren Wallace, estate of James Berkey. So Berkey probably passed away, and then they sold it to Michael Kincaid, who probably got it on a probate. Good deal for him. And now they have tenants in it. I'm waiting on feedback from Corey. He brought me this deal. He's gonna tell me what the rents are. If we need to, we can reach out. And here's the debt that they have on it. It's with Hometown Equity Mortgage for 5.25. So we could possibly, and even if not, I mean, if we were to look at this one right off top, because it's in Tahoe, I don't know, it's just for looking at the property purposes of why I'm doing this video. But let's look at the comps real quick. So we can see what's sold in the last 6 months. I doubt anything's like super comparable, but let's look. So this one sold for 1-1 in December, just around Christmas. Let's look at it. When I say one, it sold for almost 1,100,000. In our property, he's asking a little over 1.2. And this is a apartment building there. I mean, it's somewhat comparable just because of the type of property. And you know, you and I, we know Tahoe. There's not a lot of comparables, and so look at this one. Let's see how many units it is. I think I remember on the listing. It's a 4-unit, 2 1-1s and 2 2-1s. So it's 4 units. So 2 units, that's 4 units. And then two, 1. Consists of 2 1-1s and then 2 2-1s. So 6 units. And so they're asking one. So if we could come in and potentially get a little bit lower, or if he was to give us seller financing on the whole thing, and we do a sub 2 on the existing debt of 525 and just start taking over these payments, and then find out what this guy actually needs. Clearly, because we know his portfolio is stacked, doesn't have to sell, and it's already been on the market for almost 3 months. He might be willing to do a hybrid sub 2 seller finance deal. Or maybe at least for a period of time. Let's say we put a 3/40, so we can amortize it over 40 to or even 50 years, but with a balloon to where the buyer has to come due in 3 or 5 years. We could put a small cash to for closing for the agent side, because it is listed with an agent. That'd be the only, I mean, let me see what it's listed at again. They're asking 1299. Dead in place, let's just call it 5 1/4. So that leaves us, no, that's not right. Call it 2 mil. So to seller, if we can get it at like no interest or low interest, that might work for him. He's local, he's out of Carmichael. I might even know this guy. What's this guy's name? Alright. So let's look at these comps again. But there's not going to be really any like true comps, I don't think. What's this one? Oh, this one's more, it could be a comp. If not, it could be a buyer. If not, it could be a lender, or all of the above. Alright, so these guys just bought this one around the corner. They're from San Jose. They paid, or they traded at Let's see what they traded this one at again. They traded at 9. This one sold for 1.5 just after Christmas. I need to see what this thing looked like before these guys got their hands on it. I mean, they clearly did a good job and they got renters in it. I'm wondering why they don't want to refinance and hold on to it. So these guys, they just bought this one for 1.53. It's 18 units for the whole motel. That's not a bad trade. So back to our subject property. I would say it'd be worth a conversation just to see if the seller would do something creative and then talk to a local bank to see what they would lend on it, because the local bank in Tahoe, maybe even on the Nevada side, would probably want to lend on it. So it could be an option depending on what the rent roll is. Because if we can come in there and position debt that's a combination of either one, the existing capital stack, and then adding a seller finance or a private money lender, which could be a local lender, like there's probably like a Bank of Nevada or something like that, that's only a few local branches out there that loves lending on local real estate deals. We could easily go that route. We could leverage the Fannie Mae on it. It is a 4 unit, or we could come in at 5% and bring in a private money lender on that, or tap into the piggy bank, or we could put that towards the closing cost. However we want to do it. It's just a matter of, because there are existing renters in it, I think, that are on a mid-term, if not long-term lease, and if that's the case, then there's no raising the rents, at least until their lease is up. So since these guys just got it and there's supposed to be a flip, I'm assuming their leases are fresh, but we can have that information in the morning, and then we'll do a part 2 on this analysis of our potential South Lake Tahoe resort.